Hey guys, so you guys seen I got the truck running. So tonight we're just gonna do some cleanup work. I still gotta pull these valve covers off. I might do that tonight before I leave, clean them up and paint them. So then they'll be dry for tomorrow. I do need to pull out some bolts and clean them up and paint them, or do something because I don't like the way they look unpainted. I might actually have them coated maybe. I don't know, we'll see on that one. So I'm not gonna install the water meth yet, just because I want to show you guys how to do that per se. I won't be using a new kit. Actually, Dave, my buddy David, he has one of the, I think it's a Tow Max or something like that, snow performance kit that he's going to sell me. So I'm probably going to put that on this truck, and it has an EGT control, boost reference, but I also do have this one here. Actually, let me know what you guys think. This is just a really super old basic style one, this guy. And basically it's just a boost reference setup. So all it does is it adds by boost, and then how much boost you have, the more it feeds in. I'm going to use a small nozzle on this. I actually had to order some new nozzles, but I'm going to put a small nozzle. We don't need a lot. So what I used to run was like 4 to 6 liters of water meth, and I use a lot of water in the summertime because you don't need to use that much methanol. But I would do about 4 to 6 liters, so a gallon and a half to 1,000 kilometers, so we'd like 600 miles is roughly how much I would run, which I probably is more than even that you need to run. But we'll play around with it a little bit and see. This being that's got fresh injectors and everything is clean inside, we'll be able to tell, if we pull an injector or something, if there's deposit, we need to add more. But I'm thinking probably like, yeah, it doesn't need to be a very big nozzle. So like even a gallon per tank would probably be, or like a gallon per 100 liters, or something like that kind of idea would probably be enough, I think, especially being that the system is already clean. That's a big one, is that if the system's not clean to start with, you would have to run considerably more to get it clean, but when it's clean, you don't have to run as much to keep it clean. So hopefully that makes sense. So tonight, like I said, we're gonna do, I'm gonna put the bumper back on, put the hood latch back on, but I need to find one bolt because the one bolt that I had in it was the wrong one, so I want to put the right one in it this time. I'm not sure what we're doing for an intake just yet. I might just do, something pretty simple. We'll see. I would really like to build an actual cold air intake for this, because that does make a difference. Even though there isn't really a good spot to suck in cold air. But, well, there is this little tiny section here, but that's really not a real good spot to suck in cold air in my opinion, but better than no cold air, I guess. But cold air intake is a good setup. And what else? Oh yeah, and we got the fast unit to pull out. Unhook the fast unit, put some sort of a fuel filter in there. I might leave the fast unit for tonight and just figure out what we need for fittings so that I can put the bypass set up there for our valves, so that we can get that, basically the fuel side of it mocked up, so that when we go to hook up the tank that's in the back to to black diesel, then all we have to do is just hook a line to it. That might be the best way to do that. And because we're gonna be doing that this week too. So no point in hooking up and then not hooking up, if that makes sense. Yeah, I can't think of anything else. Well, we do need the exhaust, but the exhaust is going to be a separate video. It will be in this playlist, but it will be a separate video for you guys that want to see installing an exhaust. Not very difficult, but just thought I would show for guys that have never done it before. All right, so I'm going to throw you guys in a time lapse because none of this is really super hard to do. I need to find a bolt for this. I'm going to do that before I turn the time lapse on. And then we're going to mount the bumper back up so the bumper's on. And yeah, just clean up some of this stuff and figure out what we're going to do here.
All right, guys, figured I'd do a little voiceover on this, just getting the bumper on there. When I made the bumper, I'm CNC cut all the brackets, so everything fits really well as far as that goes. So it's just 4 bolts pulled off pretty easy. So not too hard to do that. I did throw a couple other things on there and you guys didn't see, but just pulling the fast. I emptied the fuel tank out, and I don't know if you guys will see, but I spilt diesel fuel all over the floor. Well, you didn't see me spilling diesel fuel, but you might have seen all the floor dry on the floor in another, oh, actually, you kind of see me putting some down. But anyways, got all the fuel out of the tank. It was full, which is like $500 worth of fuel nowadays. So, and in turn, the reason that we're doing what we're doing. So pulling the fast down, I am retaining all the fuel lines and stuff that were there, because we're going to reuse pretty much all of the fuel lines that are there, just for doing away with the fast unit, right? So just kind of getting stuff.
Hey guys, so I think I got it figured out how we're gonna run fuel filters. So I have these fuel filter bases. These are the ones that I talked about before. Just take the Baldwin fuel filters. I'm gonna run 1212s, I think, which is actually, I believe, is tighter micron than the one that's actually on the engine. So, but I want to keep that one on there just in case there's a pump issue. But anyways, I'm gonna build a bracket so both of these bolt together, and I'm gonna put, just so you have an idea what I'm doing here, is I'm gonna make the bracket so that it goes up inside here, and then the filters are gonna be like up here somewhere, kind of idea. So hopefully you can see that. Oh yeah. So the filter will be up in there, and basically we'll have the line that comes off the bottom of the fuel tank goes to one of the filters, and then the other one, which comes from the slip tank, which is this one here, this one that comes from the slip tank, right? That will go into the other filter. And then when it comes out of the filters, I'm gonna have to make up a little junction of some sort. I don't know if it'll be fuel line or how we're gonna do that just yet, but we'll figure it out. So basically we'll have the two fuel filters, and then I have this electric valve. Not really sure if these are sealed or not, so we're going to put a little of our lovely case sealant on this, and just, it says that it's supposed to be water resistant, but I don't know whether that's the truth. I was thinking about putting it into a box, but it's going to be a bunch of work to put into a box to seal it. So I think that we're just going to try it like this. I'm going to buy an extra one just in case it fails. But basically we're going to come out of the two fuel filters. We'll come out of the two fuel filters. And then, so one of these will go here, one of these will go here. Obviously we'll have to figure out on the switch panel that we make which way is which. And then this will go to the hydraulic line that's right here. Now, something that I found a long time ago, even if you're running diesel fuel, I personally, if you're gonna run a bigger line, if you're gonna run a rubber line, I guess you should say, or a bigger line, you want to make sure that you have something that doesn't collapse, because otherwise the pulse of the injection pump will actually start to collapse it. See how this collapses when you do that? It'll actually start to collapse it, especially over time. So take that as you will, do whatever you want. I like running hydraulic line myself personally. It's not horribly expensive, and it only needs to be a one wire. Either that or run an actual hard line, but I already have that hooked up in the front. Everything's good there, so we're just going to use what I have there already, obviously. So I got to get some fittings tomorrow. So this is, like I said, this is going to be for doing our black diesel setup, so wiring up our black diesel. I will put links to all this stuff in the description, in the descriptions after I've used them, because I want to make sure that they're going to work, because I don't want you guys to buy the stuff if it's not going to work. Now the other, this is the box I was going to use. It was a Pelican box, but I don't know exactly how I would do it. So I'm not going to do that for now. Maybe later we'll change these or do something different. I know a lot of guys put them in the engine bay, but then I'd have to run more lines, and there's just more screwing around like that as far as I'm concerned, but you can do as you may. I think on this one, because the return line for the engine is up in there, you guys can't see anything. I can't even see it. So we're gonna run a new fuel line, I think, because the actual return line, you know what? Actually, I shouldn't say that, because we might be able to, let's see. I'm gonna let this down a little bit here. Hopefully don't crunch anything. Let's just see. Because we might be able to, well, I'll poke my head up in there and see, because we might be able to actually undo the return line back here, and then just basically we just need to take the return line that comes from the engine, put it into the front of this, right, and then have these two, one go back to the black diesel tank and the other one go to the actual fuel tank. because like I said, I'm going to run 2 tanks. So the slip tank that's in the back of the truck will be black diesel, and then the other tank will just be regular diesel fuel still. So one thing that's nice about these, and that was part of the reason I wanted these, is these actually have, so if we want to wire it, the signal which tells you which way it's, like whether, you know, if it's open this way or open this way, there's actually a signal, so you can put a an actual little light bulb in there. So I think when we make a little panel, being we're going this far into it and I've spent this much time doing it, we might as well make it so that it has a fancy light. So we're going to run the wiring from the back to the front, or into the cab I should say, and we'll have it on a, I guess it'll be 2 toggle switches. Yeah, 2 3-way toggle switches, I guess. But I don't know, I'm gonna have to do a little tiny bit of reading on these, because I don't know if you can keep these, the solenoid, charged, or if it's supposed to be just a momentary, you know, you're supposed to just push a push button and hold it. Actually, I guess I can still do a toggle switch. You just have to have the toggle switch that doesn't stay locked on a 3-position non-locking, I guess you would call it. I don't know what you call it. Momentary. This would be momentary toggle. So I'll have to look for those, because we're gonna need those right away here. So I'm gonna go on Amazon and see if I can find those. But I need to make a list for fittings, a little bit of line. We'll get that figured out. We got to make up a bracket for this. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna call it good for this tonight, because I just wanted to get the fashioning and all that stuff out of there. Now I'm going to work on the exhaust, which will be a different video than this one. So this one will be setting up alternative fuel, extra fuel tank. And then the other video will be putting an exhaust in a 2nd gen. So anyways, I'm gonna get after doing that, and then we'll be back to working on this as soon as I get the fittings and stuff like that. So probably tomorrow, but that'll be, you know, probably be a couple days for you guys. Anyways, get back at it. All right guys, so we got the exhaust on. That'll be the next video after this one in this playlist. We got the valve covers painted up. I didn't show painting those because apparently I got a bunch of runs in them, but that's okay. They're just valve covers. So I got a couple other little things done. Like I said, I got the exhaust on. We got the, just a, well, it's not a big honking air filter, but it's a smaller one of that. If you guys are interested for the part number, just let me know in the description, or let me know down in the comments, and I will give you guys the part number for that if you're interested. I plugged a couple holes off. We did that. The valve covers, put the bumper on. I think I videoed all that. Topped up the coolant, checked the oil. Basically, the only thing I have to do now, I have to finish the fuel system, because we work on the fuel system. I have to finish that. I'm going to finish that tomorrow. That will be, I guess it'll be in this playlist, and will also be in the alternative fuels playlist, because now we're converting the truck over to going to have 2 fuel tanks. So it'll have the regular fuel tank, and then the slip tank that's in the back of the truck, which is just a 150, I think it's a 150 liter tank. And we're going to have it on electronic valves and with a toggle switch set up for switching it. I'll explain all that when we go into depth in talking about that. I did talk about it a little bit in the, I don't know if it'll be in this video. Yeah, it'll be in this video. I'll talk a little bit about it in this, but the whole install and all that stuff will be separate videos. So I think I'll link them in this playlist, and as well as the alternative fuel playlist for you guys that are interested, because that's the reason that I changed the engine. So, all right, well, I think I'm going to call her a night. Remember, it's not rocket science.